They once made us laugh with outrageous gags and fearless slapstick in The Naked Gun, 1988-1994. But behind the laughter lies a bittersweet truth: time has not spared its stars. Some of the beloved actors who brought these absurd adventures to life are no longer with us, who thrived after the spotlight faded, who struggled in silence, and who has already left this world, remembered only through their comic brilliance. Leslie Nielsen, the iconic Canadian-American actor, became forever immortalized as Lieutenant Frank Drebin in The Naked Gun, Trilogy 1988 and 1994. Born on February 11, 1926. Nielsen was already 62 years old when he first stepped into Drebin's clumsy shoes. Before his transformation into a comedy legend, he had spent decades as a dramatic actor, appearing in films like Forbidden Planet, 1956, and The Poseidon Adventure, 1972. Yet it was his unexpected pivot to parody comedies beginning with Airplane 1980 that resurrected his career and made him a household name. Throughout his life, Nielsen amassed significant earnings from his filmography of over 100 movies and hundreds of television appearances. At the height of his success, his net worth was estimated at around $20 million. However, his journey was not without turbulence. Behind the laughter, Nielsen endured a series of failed marriages. He was married 4 times, with each ending marked by personal disappointment. His struggles with relationships became one of the quiet tragedies of his private life, though he eventually found stability with his 4th wife, Barbary Earl Nielsen, whom he married in 2001. Despite his fame, Nielsen was never known for wild scandals. Instead, his biographical failures were the quieter, more personal setbacks of loneliness and searching for lasting companionship. Nielsen never had children of his own, a fact that often cast a shadow over his personal story. Still, he lived comfortably in his later years, owning several properties, including a home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where he enjoyed a quieter lifestyle, away from Hollywood's chaos. In his final years, Nielsen continued acting, albeit in smaller roles, always bringing his unique deadpan humor to the screen. Tragically, his life ended on November 28, 2010, when he died of pneumonia in Fort Lauderdale. He was 84 years old. His passing marked the end of an era. His comedic timing and stone-faced delivery left a void in Hollywood that remains unmatched. Today, Nielsen is remembered not only for making audiences laugh until they cried, but also for the bittersweet contrast between his on-screen hilarity and the personal struggles that defined much of his private life. Ricardo Montalban, the suave Mexican-born actor, became a memorable presence in The Naked Gun, 1988, as Vincent Ludwig, the charming yet sinister villain plotting a high-profile assassination. Born on November 25, 1920, Montalban was 67 years old when he portrayed Ludwig, bringing his trademark elegance and commanding voice to the comedic chaos of the film. His career, however, had begun decades earlier in Hollywood's golden age, where he appeared in musicals like Fiesta, 1947, before gaining worldwide recognition as Mr. Rourke in the long-running TV series Fantasy Island, 1977-1984. He also cemented his legacy in science fiction with his role as Khan Noonan Singh in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 1982. Despite his career triumphs, Montalban's personal journey was marked by resilience through tragedy. In 1951, a horseback riding accident left him with a severe spinal injury that caused him pain for the rest of his life, a hidden struggle behind his polished on-screen presence. He continued to work tirelessly even through physical hardship, demonstrating a determination that defined him both as an actor and as a man. At the peak of his success, his net worth was estimated at $10 million, stemming from decades of film, television, and commercial work. Off-screen, his life was relatively scandal-free, but not without heartbreak. He was married once to actress Georgiana Young, the half-sister of Loretta Young, and their marriage lasted over 60 years until her death in 2007. Together they had 4 children, and Montalban placed deep value on family stability and faith, which became pillars of his life. In his later years, he lived in Los Angeles, where he also left a cultural legacy by supporting Latino representation in Hollywood. He established the Montalban Theater in Hollywood as a platform for Latino artists, showing his commitment to lifting others even as his own health declined. Ricardo Montalban passed away on January 14, 2009, at the age of 88 from congestive heart failure. His death marked the loss of a performer whose career spanned 6 decades and whose charm made villains magnetic and heroes unforgettable. Behind the grandeur, his story was one of perseverance through pain, loyalty, and love, and a lasting mark on Hollywood history. George Kennedy, the towering and rugged actor, became a beloved part of the Naked Gun trilogy 1988-1994 as Captain Ed Hockin, the loyal and often bewildered partner to Leslie Nielsen's bumbling Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Born on February 18, 1925, Kennedy was 63 years old when he first appeared in the franchise. His gravitas and tough guy presence, honed from years of playing soldiers, villains, and lawmen, made his deadpan reactions the perfect comedic counterpoint to Nielsen's antics. Before stepping into comedy, Kennedy had built a formidable career in drama and action. He won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as dragline in Cool Hand, Luke 1967, a film that cemented him as a Hollywood heavyweight. His resume stretched across war epics disaster classics like Airport 1970 and thrillers before embracing the parody world of The Naked Gun. Despite his professional triumphs, Kennedy's personal life was fraught with turbulence. He married 4 times twice to the same woman, Joan McCarthy, reflecting a stormy search for stability. He faced financial struggles in his later years, a stark contrast to his earlier fame and fortune. His estimated net worth, around $5 million at its peak, dwindled as roles became scarce, leading to a quieter, more modest lifestyle. Yet, Kennedy showed his humanity by adopting 4 children, including a daughter he and his wife adopted after caring for her mother, a close friend who had died. Though he enjoyed success, Kennedy battled the silent decline of health and career opportunities as Hollywood shifted away from the type of roles he once dominated. This gradual fading from the spotlight became one of the more bittersweet chapters of his life. In his later years, Kennedy lived in Boise, Idaho, far from Hollywood's glamour, preferring peace and family over red carpets. His final screen appearances came in smaller films, reminders of his enduring love for acting even as age slowed him. George Kennedy died on February 28, 2016 of heart disease at the age of 91. His passing closed the book on a career that had spanned over 5 decades. Remembered as both a serious, dramatic actor and a master of comedic timing, his legacy is tinged with both triumph and quiet tragedy. An Oscar winner who knew both the heights of Hollywood and the humbling struggles of life away from it. O.J. Simpson, once celebrated as a football legend, added an unforgettable layer of irony to The Naked Gun trilogy 1988-1994 as Detective Nordberg, the well-meaning but accident-prone cop whose slapstick injuries set the tone for Leslie Nielsen's chaos. Born on July 9, 1947, Simpson was just 41 years old when he first appeared in The Naked Gun, 1988. By then, he was already a household name, not only for his record-breaking NFL career with the Buffalo Bills, but also for his transition into acting with roles in films like The Towering Inferno, 1974, and numerous TV appearances. At the height of his fame, Simpson's net worth was estimated at around $10 to $20 million, fueled by football contracts, endorsements, broadcasting jobs, and acting work. Yet his legacy was derailed by one of the most infamous scandals in American history. In 1994, Simpson was accused of the brutal murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. The televised trial in 1995, dubbed the Trial of the Century, ended with his acquittal, but the court of public opinion was forever divided. A later civil trial found him liable for wrongful death, ordering him to pay $33.5 million in damages, a judgment that devastated his finances. The downward spiral did not end there. Simpson faced years of financial ruin, failed business ventures, and the loss of endorsement deals. In 2007, he was arrested in Las Vegas for armed robbery and kidnapping, leading to a 33-year prison sentence. He served 9 years before being paroled in 2017. These events turned what could have been a post-football success story into a tragic narrative of downfall and disgrace. In his personal life, Simpson was married twice with 5 children. His family relationships were strained by his legal troubles and public scrutiny, adding to the tragedy of his later years. Despite once living in luxury homes in California and Florida, his fortune evaporated and much of his property was lost through lawsuits and financial mismanagement. O.J. Simpson died on April 10, 2024 at the age of 76 after battling prostate cancer. His death closed the final chapter of a life that embodied both the heights of American stardom and the depths of scandal. Today he remains a deeply controversial figure, remembered not only for his athletic brilliance and comedic role in The Naked Gun, but also for the haunting tragedies and notoriety that overshadowed his final decades. Nancy Marchand, the acclaimed American actress, brought her wit and sophistication to The Naked Gun, from The Files of Police Squad, 1988, as Mayor Barkley, the sharp and no-nonsense city leader caught in the whirlwind of Frank Drebin's antics. Born on June 19, 1928. Marchand was 60 years old when she appeared in the film, already a seasoned performer with a long and respected career on stage and screen. Her acting journey began in theater, where she gained recognition for her commanding presence, later transitioning to television and film. She became widely admired for her role as Margaret Pynchon, the tough publisher in the series Lou Grant, 1977-1982, a performance that earned her 4 Emmy Awards. Decades later, she would reach a new pinnacle of fame as Livia Soprano, the manipulative and chilling matriarch in HBO's The Sopranos, a role that cemented her as one of television's most formidable character actresses. Marchand's net worth at the height of her career was estimated at around $1 to $2 million, reflecting steady work rather than Hollywood extravagance. Unlike many stars, her life was not plagued by scandal, but she did endure private struggles. She battled lung cancer and emphysema illnesses that overshadowed her later years and forced her to continue acting through visible health decline. Her determination to keep working even while gravely ill spoke to her deep dedication to her craft, a professional triumph shadowed by personal suffering. In her personal life, Marchand married actor Paul Sperrer in 1951, and their marriage lasted until his death in 1999. Together, they had 3 children, and she placed strong emphasis on family, despite the demands of her career. She lived modestly far from the Hollywood excesses, focusing on her work and home life, rather than celebrity spectacle. Nancy Marchand passed away on June 18, 2000, just one day before her 72nd birthday, succumbing to cancer and emphysema. She died at 71 years old, leaving behind a legacy of elegance, strength, and a rare ability to embody characters of immense authority and emotional depth. Though her career was marked by accolades, her final years were a tragic reminder of life's fragility as she fought illness while delivering some of her most unforgettable performances. Today she is remembered as an actress of immense talent, whose work continues to resonate long after her passing. Jeanette Charles, the iconic actress best remembered in The Naked Gun, series 1988-1994 for her brief yet unforgettable role parodying Queen Elizabeth II, was born on October 15, 1927. She joined the franchise in her early 60s, around 61 years old, and her uncanny resemblance to the late monarch made her a standout figure in comedy. In the films, she brought humor and satire to the royal image, creating a lasting cultural impression despite limited screen time. Charles's career was unusual. Her resemblance to Queen Elizabeth II defined her path. She appeared not only in The Naked Gun, but also in National Lampoon's European Vacation, 1985, and Austin Powers in Goldmember 2002, always portraying the Queen in a comical or satirical light. While this made her famous, it also limited her opportunities. Casting directors rarely saw her beyond the Queen's image, a strange form of typecasting that both made her and trapped her. Her estimated net worth hovered around $1 to $2 million, modest compared to Hollywood elites, but significant for someone with such a niche career. She never built a massive empire of real estate or luxury holdings. Instead, her life was more private, less extravagant. She was married and had children, balancing family life with her peculiar profession. Yet behind the laughter, there was a bittersweet reality. Her success relied almost entirely on another woman's image, and as the real queen aged, so too did her opportunities shrink. Jeanette Charles lived into her 90s, passing away on June 2, 2024, at the age of 96. Her death, attributed to natural causes, marked the end of a singular career that blurred the line between parody and identity. She left behind a legacy of humor, but also a quiet biographical tragedy, an actress whose fame was inseparable from someone else's face. Even now, she is remembered with both admiration and a hint of melancholy, a performer who became a symbol, but never escaped the shadow of the queen she so perfectly resembled. Nicholas Worth, a character actor remembered for his gritty and often menacing roles, made his mark in The Naked Gun, 3313, The Final Insult, Tayin Biliwin, 1994, where he appeared in his mid-50s. He was born on September 4th, 1937, making him about 56 during filming. Though his role in the franchise was small, his imposing presence and tough guy aura perfectly fit the slapstick chaos of the film. Worth's career was built on playing villains and heavies, his burly frame and intimidating stare, making him a natural choice for crime dramas and action movies. He became well known for roles in Don't Answer the Phone, a 1980 Swamp Thing, 1982, Heartbreak Ridge, 1986, and countless TV shows, including Star Trek Voyager and Night Court. Yet despite steady work, he never broke into leading roles. Hollywood typecast him as the bad guy, a limitation that frustrated him, but also ensured his constant presence on screen. His estimated net worth at the height of his career was modest, around 500,000 or 1 million. Unlike major stars, he did not accumulate great wealth or a vast property portfolio. His life was more grounded without extravagant real estate or flashy assets. He was married but kept his family and private affairs away from publicity, preferring a low-profile existence. Still, like many character actors, he faced the hardship of recognition. Without stardom, always familiar, seldom celebrated. Tragically, Nicholas Worth died on May 7, 2007, at the age of 69 from heart failure. His death marked the end of a career defined by intensity and resilience. He left behind the image of a man whose on-screen menace contrasted with a quieter, more private real life. Today, fans recall him as one of those indispensable figures of cinema, the kind of actor who may never have been a household name, but whose presence added grit, realism, and unforgettable edge to every project he touched. Lawrence Tierney, the tough-as-nails actor who appeared in The Naked Gun, 1988, was born on March 15, 1919, and was about 69 when he joined the slapstick comedy classic. Known for his rugged looks and hard-edged demeanor, Tierney's role in the film fit his established image as a man who exuded danger and intimidation, even in a comedy setting. Tierney rose to fame in the 1940s, most notably with his chilling performance as the real-life gangster in Dillinger, 1945. His career spanned decades with appearances in film noir classics such as Born to Kill, 1947, but his volatile personality often overshadowed his talent. He became notorious in Hollywood for violent outbursts, drunken fights, and arrests, incidents that sabotaged his chances at major stardom. Producers and directors frequently found him difficult to manage, and this reputation dogged him throughout his career. Despite his troubles, he enjoyed a remarkable comeback in the 1990s when Quentin Tarantino cast him as crime boss Joe Cabot in Reservoir Dogs, 1992. This role reintroduced him to a new generation of audiences and cemented his legacy as one of cinema's quintessential tough guys. His later years also included appearances in Seinfeld and other television shows, where his unpredictable behavior both amused and unsettled cast and crew. Financially, Tierney never amassed great wealth. His net worth was estimated around $1 to $2 million. His turbulent lifestyle, coupled with periods of unemployment, limited his fortune. He never married nor had children, and much of his personal life was marked by solitude and struggles with alcohol. Unlike stars who invested in real estate or businesses, Tierney lived more modestly, never building a lasting financial empire. Lawrence Tierney passed away on February 26, 2002 from pneumonia at the age of 82. His death closed the chapter on one of Hollywood's most notorious bad boys, a man whose talent was undeniable, but whose demons often stood in the way. Today he is remembered as both a cautionary tale and a cult legend, a gifted actor who lived and lost by the same toughness that defined his screen presence. Hank Robinson, the character actor who appeared in The Naked Gun, From the Files of Police Squad, 1988 as the first base umpire, was born on March 27, 1923 in Covington, Tennessee, and by the time of filming, he was 65 years old. His imposing figure and background in baseball made him a natural fit for such roles, and throughout his career, he became a familiar face in sports-related comedies and dramas, often cast as an umpire or official. He built his career with a long list of small but steady performances, including appearances in Brewster's Millions 1985, Zapped 1982, and family favorites like The Apple Dumpling, Gang Rides, Again. Television credits added further variety with roles in Bonanza, Quantum Leap, and even Beverly Hills 90210. Yet despite his steady work, Robinson never achieved stardom. His career was defined by fleeting moments on screen, the kind that audiences might remember without ever knowing his name. Robinson's net worth remained modest, likely under $1 million, reflecting the financial reality of a working character actor. He never amassed large real estate holdings or a glamorous fortune, instead leading a grounded life centered around work and family. Married to Mildred Morris from 1950 until his death, he raised 3 children and avoided the scandals that often haunted Hollywood figures. Still, his professional life carried its own quiet struggles. Recognition without fame, work without wealth, and the bittersweet legacy of being always in the frame, but seldom in the spotlight. Hank Robinson passed away on April 7, 2012 in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the age of 89 from natural causes. By then, he had lived nearly 9 decades marked by resilience, hard work, and the quiet dignity of an actor who gave his craft without expecting stardom. Remembered as one of those indispensable supporting players, Robinson remains a symbol of Hollywood's unsung backbone actors who filled the screen's corners, gave life to its atmosphere, and quietly carried the weight of authenticity. Dick Enberg, the beloved sportscaster who made a memorable cameo in The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, 1988, was born on January 9, 1935 in Mount Clemens, Michigan, and was 53 years old at the time of filming. Playing himself in the film's chaotic baseball sequence, Enberg brought authenticity and humor, his smooth voice and familiar presence adding to the parody's charm. Enberg's career stretched far beyond acting. He was one of the most respected broadcasters in American sports history, with his trademark catchphrase, "Oh my," he covered everything from Super Bowls and Wimbledon to NCAA basketball and Major League Baseball. His work earned him Emmy Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and induction into Broadcasting Halls of Fame. Yet despite his professional triumphs, Enberg faced the bittersweet reality of being typecast in life not as an actor, but as just a voice forever, the commentator, rather than a performer in his own right. Financially, Enberg's career brought him significant success, with an estimated net worth of around $16 million. Unlike many Hollywood personalities, his fortune was not built on glamorous roles or real estate empires, but on decades of steady broadcasting contracts and his ability to adapt to changing sports media. His personal life saw both joy and turmoil. He married twice, raised children, and balanced the demands of fame with family. Still, the relentless schedule of a broadcaster kept him on the road sometimes, at the expense of home life. Tragedy struck in his later years when Enberg died suddenly on December 21, 2017 at his home in La Jolla, California, at the age of 82. The cause was a heart attack, a quiet end for a man whose voice had filled stadiums and living rooms for half a century. His death left behind not only a grieving family, but also millions of fans who had come to associate his voice with the greatest moments in sports. Remembered as both a consummate professional and a gentle humorist, Dick Enberg remains a symbol of broadcasting excellence, a man who crossed into film briefly but whose true stage was always the microphone. Jacqueline Brooks was born on July 24, 1930 in Montclair, New Jersey, and by the time she appeared in The Naked Gun, 212 The Smell of Fear, 1991, she was 61 years old. In the film, she played Commissioner Brumford, a stern and commanding figure whose sharp delivery provided a perfect counterbalance to the absurdity around her. Her presence lent authority and gravitas even in a comedy designed to push boundaries of slapstick. Her career, however, was much broader than this comedic highlight. A classically trained actress, Brooks built her reputation on stage working with the New York Shakespeare Festival and establishing herself as a serious dramatic performer. On screen, she appeared in films like The Good Son, 1993, and The Gambler, 1974, as well as television roles in Star Trek: The Next Generation, Law and Order, and Guiding Light. While she never became a household name, she was deeply respected in theater circles, admired for her dedication to craft over celebrity. Financially, her career kept her comfortable rather than wealthy. With an estimated net worth under $2 million, she lived a modest life compared to Hollywood's elite. She never built an empire of real estate or luxury holdings, choosing instead a quieter path centered around her work and students. She spent many years teaching acting, guiding younger performers with the same intensity she brought to her own roles. Brooks never married and had no children, a fact often viewed as a sacrifice made for her career. Yet this independence also reflected her personality, fiercely private, intellectually driven, and unwilling to compromise her artistic values. Her struggles were not in scandal, but in the frustrating reality of being typecast, often overlooked, for leading parts in favor of flashier talent. She died on April 26, 2013 in New York City at the age of 82 from natural causes. Her passing marked the end of a life devoted to the stage and screen, but also highlighted the bittersweet story of an actress who gave everything to her art while remaining largely outside the spotlight. Today, Jacqueline Brooks is remembered not as a star, but as a true actor's actor, disciplined, enduring, and quietly unforgettable. Richard Griffiths, born on July 31, 1947 in Thornaby-on-Tees, England, was 41 years old when he appeared in The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, 1988. In the film, he played Dr. Alfred, a role that, though small, carried the same wit and gravitas that would define his career. His round frame, expressive face, and remarkable timing made him a natural for both comedy and drama, and even in a slapstick setting, he elevated the material with a subtle intelligence. His wider career was far more illustrious. Griffiths was acclaimed for his stage work, especially as Hector in Alan Bennett's The History Boys, a role that won him both Olivier and Tony Awards. On-screen audiences across the world knew him as Vernon Dursley in the Harry Potter series, as well as from films like Chariots of Fire, 1981, and Withnail and I, 1987. Yet, alongside the triumphs came the struggles. His physical appearance, shaped by obesity, led to frequent typecasting, often restricting him to pompous or overbearing characters. This became both a gift and a prison, giving him steady work, but narrowing his artistic opportunities. Financially, Griffiths' career provided him with security and recognition. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated around $5 million, comfortable sum, reflecting decades of stage and screen success. He never chased Hollywood luxury, preferring instead a private life in England. He married actress Heather Gibson in 1980, though the couple had no children. Their marriage endured without scandal, though Griffiths often spoke candidly about his frustrations with his weight and the limitations it placed on both his health and his career. Tragically, Richard Griffiths died on March 28, 2013 at the age of 65 following complications from heart surgery. His death left a void in both the theater and film communities, cutting short a career that had managed to balance humor, depth, and humanity. Today, he is remembered as a masterful performer who brought dignity to even the silliest of parts and whose warmth and generosity offstage earned him admiration from colleagues and fans alike. His legacy endures as one of Britain's finest character actors, brilliant, versatile, and forever missed. Anthony James, born on July 22, 1942 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, was 52 years old when he appeared in The Naked Gun 2-1-2, The Smell of Fear, 1991. In the film, he played Hector Savage, the hired assassin whose dark, menacing appearance provided a sharp contrast to the comedy's absurdity. His gaunt frame and chilling screen presence made him unforgettable, even in a spoof, a testament to how strongly he embodied villainous roles. James's career was built on playing outcasts, killers, and sinister figures. He first rose to prominence in the Oscar-winning classic In the Heat of the Night, 1967, where he played the hateful diner counterman. Later, he became a familiar presence in films like Unforgiven, 1992, High Plains, Drifter, 1973, and Burnt Offerings, 1976. On television, he guest starred in dozens of shows, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, The A-Team, and Star Trek: The Next Generation, among them always cast as someone dangerous, untrustworthy, or grotesque. It was both his gift and his curse. Typecasting gave him work, but confined his talent to a narrow range. Financially, James never amassed the fortune of leading men. His net worth was modest, likely under $2 million, enough to sustain him, but far from Hollywood grandeur. He never pursued real estate empires or extravagant living. Instead, his focus after retiring from acting shifted to art. He became an accomplished painter, selling his works and finding in painting a freedom of expression that Hollywood rarely allowed him. In his private life, James never married and had no children. He lived quietly, far from scandal, yet there was a sense of solitude that marked his later years. The lack of a family and his retreat from the film industry left him largely outside the public eye, his legacy remembered only by devoted fans of westerns, thrillers, and cult cinema. Anthony James died on May 26, 2020 from cancer at the age of 77. His passing closed the book on a career defined by darkness on screen, but tempered by sensitivity and artistry in real life. Today, he is remembered as one of cinema's most distinctive villains, haunting, intense, and unforgettable, even when hidden behind the shadows of typecasting. Tom Dugan, the veteran character actor who appeared in The Naked Gun, From the Files of Police Squad, 1988, was born on March 1, 1889. And by the time of filming, he was nearly 99 years old. Though in fact, his role in the franchise was more symbolic than central, as his career had largely concluded decades earlier. Known throughout the 1930s and 1940s as a reliable supporting player, Dugan was the kind of actor who quietly added texture and humor to films without ever becoming a leading man. He built his career with memorable roles in movies like To Be or Not to Be, 1942, where he played the brave but doomed Bronsky, and countless comedies and dramas where his wit and timing stood out. Yet, as Hollywood evolved, his presence faded. By the late 1950s, his screen appearances had dwindled. He never reached the stardom that some of his contemporaries achieved, and typecasting as comic relief limited his artistic range. Dugan's net worth remained modest, likely under $1 million in today's terms. He lived more quietly than many Hollywood figures without vast estates or glamorous wealth. His personal life was kept largely private. He was married, but did not build a high-profile family life, preferring to stay out of the scandal sheets. Unlike others of his era, his life wasn't marked by notorious affairs or wild public breakdowns, but rather by the quieter disappointment of fading recognition. Sadly, Tom Dugan never saw the renaissance that some of his peers enjoyed. He passed away on March 7, 1955 at the age of 66 from a heart attack, long before The Naked Gun ever went into production. His inclusion in discussions of the film series often arises from confusion with his earlier work and the long shadow he left as a reliable comic actor. Remembered best for his wartime-era performances, Dugan stands as an example of Hollywood's many nearly forgotten players, talented, essential, but ultimately lost in the vast tide of movie history. Which character from The Naked Gun, 1988-1994, holds a special place in your heart? How does it make you feel, knowing that the beloved cast members are no longer with us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share them in the comments below. If you've been enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.